Hey, my name is Sam Bone. I'm an attorney here in Gadsden, Alabama, and today we're talking about how certain misdemeanors, especially domestic violence charges, can affect your gun rights. But don't worry, there's a path to restoring those rights, or there can be, whether you need to file for a pardon or if your rights can be automatically restored. I'll explain everything you need to know. Let's dive in. Under federal law, specifically the Lautenberg Amendment to 18 U.S.C. 922G, a conviction for a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence can lead to a lifetime ban on firearm possession. However, the rules change slightly if the offense involved a dating relationship. Let me break it down. Here's a statute here. It says it shall be unlawful for any person who has been convicted in any court of a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence to ship or transport, possess any firearm or ammunition, or receive any firearm or ammunition which has been shipped or transported interstate or foreign commerce. That's the statute right there that takes away the gun right. Okay, here's the sheet of paper that the Justice Department gives that talks about misdemeanor crimes and domestic violence prohibitions. One thing it points out is here's what it does to disqualify. It's a misdemeanor, has the element of use or attempted use of physical force or the threatened use of a deadly weapon, and at the time of the offense, the defendant was basically had some sort of a relationship. Here's the part though. It says a person does not need to be convicted of a crime called domestic violence for the federal prohibition to apply, provided that the conviction meets the requirements above. Which, let's say that you've got a domestic violence third assault and you work out a deal to lower it from domestic violence third assault to assault third, which takes out the domestic violence third. This statute here says you could still lose your gun rights. Okay. According to this sheet, what are the ways that you can get those back? Let's say that you were not represented by counsel on your case. That could get them back unless you knowingly and intelligently waived your right to counsel. Most people will have done that. If you're entitled to the jury trial and it was not tried by the jury, unless you waived your right to a jury trial, which if you did this in a municipal court, at least in Alabama, that's the case. You haven't waived your right to a jury trial. If the conviction was set aside or expunged, so if the conviction later was overturned, then you haven't been convicted, right? Or if it was expunged, or if it was pardoned, your civil rights were restored. Those things can do it. It does not lift, though, if the expungement, pardon, or restoration of civil rights provides that the person may not ship, transport, possess, or receive firearms. So when you get a pardon, sometimes you'll get a full pardon. Sometimes you might get one that says all your rights are restored except for returning your gun rights. Another thing here, the expungement statute for Alabama expressly says it does not restore your gun rights. So there's another step, which is then apply for a pardon. So let's say that you lost your gun rights due to a domestic violence charge. What steps does our firm take? Our firm will first advise you to first apply for an expungement, which would wipe out the actual conviction, even though that the statute for an expungement says that it does not restore your gun rights. Then the next step that we advise you to take is to apply for a pardon. The pardon would then restore your gun rights. Again, just because you're eligible for these things to be done does not mean that they will be granted, but the only way to get these things back is to follow the right steps, and we will be there to go through these steps